Manet wasn't your normal 19th century artist. He didn't go with the hack neoclassicism or romanticism, and didn't like sitting at the populist kids table with impressionism and its post, even when he was associated with them all the time. What Manet wanted to be was stop.
Wait a minute.
How was he like that? You can be free in so many ways. Out of a place, out of a family, or out of the relationship that you doomed your whole life in. But not a lot of these were popular when Manet was around. So he did the only thing he knew. He painted. And painting he did. Manet had a large catalogue of paintings that showed his philosophy, and in addition to some gigs here or there, Manet works focused mostly on two things: philosophers and women who make you hella uncomfortable. To start on his most noted collection, the Philosophers trilogy is built on three men: Slifer, the Sky Dragon, sorry, not the three, Bigger with oysters, Bigger with a duffel coat, and the Reg Picker. I will admit it, there is a fourth one, but it doesn't get to sit at the table. It was just included to increase the price. Anyway, the first two came from direct inspiration after Manet's visit to Madrid. From all Velasquez's wonders, two men in particular captivated his heart the most: Aesop and Menippus, whom were very renowned Greek and Roman philosophers. But Velasquez chose to not dress them in the way that they would usually be dressed. Instead, he dressed them like people from his time, and that was the exact same thing that Manet wanted to do. So the first thing that he did after landing back in Paris was to grab his brushes and start working. And while he's working, why don't you hit that subscribe button? I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. And thus, my idea was born: the two biggers. First, with the beggar with the duffel coat. He had his left arm in the same position as Aesop's, but now it was out of the coat, and his right arm is going toward you instead of holding the book, as if it is the next frame asking you for more. And the second, the beggar with oysters, followed the same clothing style of Menippus almost to a T. The same cloak, hat, and the same hair and beard. But this time, instead of them moving away with their body only looking at us, they are facing us directly, looking at us with interest. And to note, both of these philosophers were said that they have started as slaves who rose through wit. So it is sensible for Manet to dress them this way. But where does the third philosopher fit into all of this? Well, I believe that this is where self-insertion fanfiction, or the 19th century counterpart of it, comes into the picture. The character depicted in the picture takes a lot after how Manet looked. The same long hair, beard, and the face structure. However, the man in the picture is very much older than Manet when he drew it, and his gaze is to the side as if not to look at you. Manet didn't think of himself as just a man, but as a missionary whose job was to pick the valuables that his society discarded. And who did he mean by that?
The women.
Women muses in Manet's time were almost always daughters of the night. They were always cheap, easy to order as you can get, and they were always just a part of the painting and not the focus of it. But with Manet, oh baby, they were it. A ton of Manet's painting had the woman looking directly at you, not in the distance behind you, not into other characters' eyes, at you, the observer, as to tell you, this is my place. You don't belong here. And the Aboriginals of that time didn't like it. The Aboriginals now won't care. But at that time, oh boy, there were backlash. Let's take Olympia as an example. When Olympia was first shown to the public, people didn't point the obvious quote-unquote inspiration that Manet had from Venus. But they took offense that a whore is looking deep into their souls with an expression that isn't particularly comforting. The subject of the painting in question is a nude. She is particularly not trying to capture your attention, but she is what we call naked, as if you were done with her and she is now annoyed by your presence. You can see Manet's emphasis on the annoyance when you look at the black cat and its body language. You are not welcome here anymore. And that continues to be the truth in multiple other works of his as well. Like when you look here, the main figure and the focus of the painting is the naked woman. And you can realize that by taking a look at the color tones. She is in a brighter tone than all of her surroundings, being the forest or the two men. No one realizes that you are there except for her. And that pattern continues on and 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 on. You get the idea. But that wasn't the only thing that Manet did to annoy people. To drift back to Luncheon on the Grass, Manet wasn't completely doing the shading the way realism used to do it, to the extent that he was called on it that he was submitting unfinished paintings. But his idea behind that was to separate the audience even more from the work of art, to deepen the words, "You don't belong here." Manet in our current times is named the father of movements like impressionism, but that was never his intent. It was these movements that took on the roads that he paved instead of the old ways of doing things. He wanted to follow his philosophy, and many others, just like he was before, were inspired. And the rest is history.